Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Basically this is the AWS Zero to Master series and we are focusing on the cloud and services and the playlist. If you can remember in the past few sessions we have been discussed more about that application load balancer, target group and security group level. In the today's session we're going to discuss about that one of the another concept in application load balancer that is called the listener rule. So let us start. Before start the session, let us quickly recall our earlier existing environment. I'm just going to be use that existing environment, which is the one created on that application load balancer level demo. If you are not aware of that those concepts, just look into my those video. You should be get more idea about that. Basically, like we have a application load balancer, and along with that, the security group we have been attached and in the back like those security group have been allowing the traffic from any network as well as we can do it on the specific network also. So if you can see like in the back end we have a two EC2 instance and on the security group level we are allowing the traffic only coming from that application load balancer level security group. So basically, in the application load balancer level, we have been configured the listener group as is 80, and we have been connected the backend target at that this the EC2 target. So if user trying to connect with 80, basically it will be forward the traffic to that particular 80 particular target group. So apart from that, like we have been disabled that public API of the EC2 instance. So if the user trying to access directly to the EC2 instance, like they will not access those EC2 since we have been isolated that to those environment. So along with that, in the last demo, we have been seeing if we have any kind of a EC2 instance, if we need to attach the instance to the existing target group, we have been like demonstrator how we can add the target group. So these all are the uh, and these all are the environment we are going to be using. So basically, like in the demo session, all the configuration remaining same. Only the target group level, I'm going to use it that one of the only one EC2 instance since I'm going to be use it for the lab. So apart from that, remaining same all the configuration. So coming to that, in today's session, what we are going to do, we are going to be create another target group. So basically, on the target group level, we are going to be attach that one of the EC2 instance with the listener group, we are going to be connect with the 81. So using that, what we are going to achieve when the user trying to access with the 81 port with that application load balancer endpoint, automatically it will validate that listener rule, and based on that, it should be redirect to the traffic to particular EC2 instance. If the user trying to access that 80 port that is the green network, it will be forward the traffic to that first target group. So along with that, what we are going to do, we are going to be create another rule, based on the like a path. We are going to be we are going to be like get that static response using that 81 slash item. In case if any user trying to access this load balancer with port number 81 slash, in case if they are mentioning that any kind of path slash item means it should be forward that static content like item not found. That is the way we are going to be achieve this today lab. So let us quickly jump into that console. Basically, I'll just switch into that North Virginia. So as I mentioned, I have only one EC2 instance. This is the EC2 instance we are going to be using for that 80, like the target group one. Instead of three, we are going to be use it. So I'm just switching to that console. You can see I have one of the load balancer called MyALB. So if you can see that on the MyALB, I have one of the listener called 80. So this 80 listener is targeting to the MyALB target. If you can see, if I just click on the target group, so basically, yeah, it has that one of the only one EC2 instance. So it is pointing to that existing EC2 instance. So back to that load balancer. Yeah. So basically, this is the topology of the EC2 instance. It's connecting with the 80 port and forwarding to that MyALB target, and the backend we have one of the instance. So if I'm just trying to that access these application load balancer using that like a domain name, we are getting that response from that welcome to Amazon Linux. Basically, we are using the HTTP, so by default port is 80. So that's the reason it's connecting with the 80. So now what we are going to do, back to that slide, here we are going to be create one of the EC2 instance, and then we are going to be attach the EC2 instance in the one of the target group. With the listener, we are going to be connect with the 81. So when the user trying to access with the 81, instead of connecting this EC2, it should be forward the traffic to the this one. So we'll start it back to that console. So go to that instance. So basically this instance I have been created with Amazon Linux. So if you can see that AMI, that is the Amazon Linux. Now I'm going to be create an instance with the Ubuntu. So server Ubuntu. So basically that AMI is Ubuntu and security group I'm going to be selected as the EC2 HTTP. So basically these all the configuration how we can deploy the EC2 instance. I have been posted that video in that earlier session. You can just look into my those video. You should be get more idea. In the today motto, like we are going to discuss more about that application load balancer level. So I'm just copying that user data. Basically, the Ubuntu mission I'm going to be pass the user data at that Nginx. So here you can see basically I have been installed that HTTPD service. Here what we are going to do, we are going to be install that Nginx and we are just adding the content. So just to launch the instance. So it will take a few seconds. In the meantime, we will try to like create a listener rule. So it will be up and running in a few seconds. So to add a more listener groups on the load balancer, just to go to that load balancer. So click on your load balancer. So basically, if you can see right now, I have only one listener rule. That means whenever user trying to access this load balancer endpoint IP with the 80 port, it will be forward the traffic to the concerned target group, and we are getting the response. Now, what we are going to do, we are going to add a one more listener called the Ubuntu Mission listener. So here, basically, like I don't have that any SSL security, so I am going to be the existing HTTP traffic only. So existing, we are using that 80. So I'm going to use that port number called 81. So here there are three ways we can forward the traffic. First one is that we can forward the traffic to that any of the existing target group, or else we can forward the traffic to that any of the URL also. Like if we can see, we can pass the URL to that using the HTTPS method with we can pass that host and the path, as well as that query also we can pass it. Based on that, like the status code also we can change it. If you are using that full URL, we can pass that the protocol as well as that the domain name server and part of that the app as well as that query also we can send it. So another one option where we can like use it called the return the fixed response. So basically, if the user trying to access with any kind of fixed URL, they can get it that fixed response using this one. So like now what we are going to do, we are going to be first use it that forward target group, then we will see it in that one by one. So this is the existing target. I'm going to be create one more target. So basically we are using for the instance purpose, and here this target group will connect with EC2 instance, the 80 port only. We are not going to be changed because my Nginx server by default connected with the 80. If you are using that any kind of custom port, you can change it. So apart from that, remaining same, that default path only I'm just going to be take, and target group Ubuntu target. So just click on next. Here you can see there are two instances are available. First one is that web server Ubuntu. Second one is web. This one we have been already connected with our listener role with the 80 port. This one we are going to be connect with the 80. So basically, this 80 port should be defined based on the EC2 configuration, not a load balancer configuration. But when we are configuring the load balancer to target group, you should be connect with your own load balancer port group. I think like I'm just include that pending to create a target group. Now target group has been created. So there are only one instance. It is in the unused state. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to be refresh this page and just I'll connect with my Ubuntu target. So that's it. And if you need, you can just like we can do the stickiness also. We will just check it out in a later session. So basically, what I'm just doing, I'm adding like a listener with the 81 port. Whenever user trying to connect with the 81, it should be forward to the concern Ubuntu target. So that weightage is remaining, like we can define that how much, how many instance and how much percentage we are going to be using. So basically, if we are giving that one, I'm going to be that only one instance. So it will be like 100% you are going to be using. So now you can see there are two listeners are available. First one is that 80 and second one is that 81. So we'll check it on that resource. Yeah, here you can see that the topology of that existing load balancer. Basically, this is the existing one. Whenever user trying to access with the 80 port, it will be redirect to that the Amazon Linux machine. Whenever user trying to access with the 81 port, it should be redirect to the concern machine. So basically, both are in healthy. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to be connect with the first 80. This is the 80. So you can see we are getting that response from Amazon Linux. So now what we are going to do, we are going to be access with the port number 81. So now you can see like we are getting the access from my that Ubuntu machine. The source IP is that 29.214. If I can go with the instance, this is the one. So 29.214. So basically, this is the way we can add a multiple listener groups, and each listener group we can like connect with the either target groups or else that fixed URL. So this is the way we can like respond that sorry we can configure our load balancer with multiple targets. So back to that slide, if you can see, this is one of the green network working fine, as well as that blue network also working fine. If the user trying to access with HTTP 81, it is forwarding to that Ubuntu machine. Now another things we are going to be use it with that the fixed like a static value. If user trying to access with that like slash 81 port slash item, it should be forward the traffic to the fixed URL. So let us see on the console. So basically, this here will be like as we have been configured that 80 port will be like targeting the tone of the backend target group, and the 81 port group is targeting the tone of the another target group. Now what we are going to do inside that 81, if any of the user trying to access with like port 81 slash item or anything, it should be forward the fixed response. So for example, like if any user trying to access with the 81 and like basically the user trying to access with the load balancer IP slash 81, and along with that if anyone like item, okay, it should be forward that traffic called that like instead of that fixed response, that Nginx will be forward the traffic like site not found, like that we should be get the message. So to do that, just to open that like listener. So inside the listener also we can add the sum of the rule. So when we are creating that listener also we can add the rule. First we will try to add that inside the listener. So basically here you can see there are one of the like default rule is there. You know, basically the default rule and priority is that last. That means whenever we are creating the listener, default rule will be created. Those default rule will be taken as a last priority. If nothing will be like none of the rule is available on that particular listener, that will be taken default rule as the final one. So that is the way it has been configured. So what we need to be do, if we need, you can just edit that rule on here. Otherwise, just click on that add rule. So here I'm just going to be give that rule name called fixed response. So click on the next. So here basically we can add a condition. So condition means nothing but based on the what type of like request we need to be pass the response. So basically there are multiple like conditions providing by AWS. For example, that host header means nothing but if any user trying to access that example.com like aws.example.com, like we can add that value like called aws dot we can define that the like if host getter based on the host getter what we need to be do that on the response level. If you are selecting that path also like we can define that the end of the path class item. If any user trying to access with that load balancer domain name slash item, it like what kind of response it should be forward. So if you can see that we can add that HTTP request method along with that like HTTP request also we can forward the traffic to that concern. Along with that the source IP like we can add the source IP CADR also from when we are getting that request from that some of the particular IP we can forward the traffic to the fixed response or something we can forward the static a static type of URL as well. So now what we are going to do, we are going to be was that if any user trying to access with it, domain name slash item, we are going to be pass the fixed value. Along with that, you can add a multiple item also. So I'm just going to be go with only single item. So basically, if the path is item means we can add the multiple condition if you require like we can add the multiple condition but these four things we can add it only one time this one like we can add it as a two one or more conditions. So basically I'm just going with I'm just planning with only one condition. So click on next. So basically like in the like action page if the user trying to access with this last item what we need to be do either we need to be forward that to the particular some of the target group or we can redirect to that URL. URL means like if you click on that path we can define if the user trying to access with like a load balancer DNS slash items we can pass that traffic to the concern URL like https dot amazon.com slash web slash query. So that what will happen, it will be forward the traffic to the particular host name. Apart from that, like we can give the status code also. So this is the one like that static fix like return fixed response. So here only like we can pass it when the user trying to access using the Tesla's items. What we need to be do either like we can use the response code based on our like value. Apart from that, the content type either text.plain, text.html or text class CSS. So based on that like content type, we can pass the value. I'm just planning to give the plain text with it. Site under maintenance. So basically, I'm just passing the value fixed, return fixed response. So click on the next and the priority. Priority 1 to 5,000 we can give it. So basically, lowest value will be taken a high priority. So like for example, if we have a two rule in the same fixed response, if we are giving that 1 and 10 priority, it will take that one is the highest priority. So basically what we are doing, we are giving the 503 response and inside that we are passing that if user trying to access with item, it should be for that default fixed response site under maintenance. So let us try to, yeah, now you can see if I am just trying to access using the load balancer DNS with the port number of 81, along with that we are passing that path slash item. So basically it is getting that information from the load balancer fixed response. So this is the way we can add a multiple rule inside that single listener. Each rule we can add it that based on the header or like so each listener we can add the condition based on the header also we can pass it or based on the path. This is the one we have been discussing now and HTTP request and source IP. So along with that, when you are creating a listener also back to the listener. So when you are creating the listener also, you can just do it like if I'm just trying to access with the 82 here also we can if pass that like a static response site not found this port. So what I'm doing, so if the user trying to access with the 82 port in application load balancer domain name, I need to be get that 502 response code with the site not found message. So I'm just trying to add. So I'm just going to be copy along. I'm just going to copy with paste along with that 82. You can see site not found with this port. Basically, we are connecting with the 82 port, so that's the reason 82 port forwarding to the particular static response. So this is the way we can add a multiple listener, and each listener we can add a multiple rule based on our environment. It should be forward the traffic to the concerned target, say either fixed response or fixed URL or static content anything. So back to that slide, now you should be understand that when the like user trying to access with the green network, it should be validate the listener port with like a target. It will be forward the traffic, and this is the one we have been tested with the 81 blue network. When the user trying to access with the 81, it will be validate the listener. It should be forward the traffic to the blue network to particular target. And if the user trying to access with the 81 slash item, it is the path of that domain, so it will be forward the traffic to the like a static content. So I hope you enjoyed the session. So that's all about the today's session. If you are enjoying my video, just to do subscribe my channel and like my video, it will be help me to do more videos like this. So once again, thanks for watching my channel, and we'll see you in that upcoming session.